Hey crafty friends, it is the new year, which means a new catalog. That's right, this is the January to April mini catalog, and it is so good. I cannot wait to show you all the cool things in here, and I even have some artwork samples to show you of things that I've made with some of the new products. And what makes this extra special is that it is also Sale-A-Bration this month, which means that for January and February, when you make a purchase, you can earn free products. So I will explain that a little bit more in detail as we go through, but there's also new online exclusives and there are new scrapbooking workshops and scrapbooking stamp sets. There's just a ton of brand new things, which we all love, and I cannot wait to show you. So let's go over the table and have a look. I love that something that Stampin' Up! Does is have products for a whole range of crafters. So we have kits, lots of kits, 2 to 3 new kits come out every month from home decor, mini albums, cards, so many things. And then there's also quick and easy options. And these are basically like ephemera and pre-printed bases that you can put together cards really fast and easy. Even the sentiments are printed, so you can just go ahead, pop those out and put them on a card, and you can kind of mix and match everything to get the look that you want. You don't have to stay within that grouping of supplies. They also work really good for embellishments on scrapbook pages. There's some helpful little sketches here to give you ideas of how to use these different elements. I don't have any of these pieces yet to show you in person, but I'm sure they will end up making their way into my collection. Lots of ideas. Then there's also memories and more. So there's some new pocket cards here. And of course you can use them as pocket cards in a mini album with divided page protectors, but you can also use them on your regular layouts or to make cards. There are card bases that perfectly match these sizes. So you can just stick them on the front of your card and make it super quick and easy to embellish. There is also a paper pack that is in the online exclusives that matches this too. So that would really help you extend it and use it on larger scrapbooking projects. We got lots of stamps here right off the bat, some really good size sentiments. This happy birthday is pretty much like a full card front just in itself. I love how they use the different colors of ink to really make it special. I think an embossed, if you emboss that and like did some ink blending over it or something, would make some really fun cards too. There's lots of artwork inspiration throughout the catalog, of course, that always is great for so many different ideas. The first collection that we come to is Storybook Moments. Now, I do not have this collection in hand to show you because I was waiting to see what the scrapbooking workshop would be, and there is a scrapbooking workshop that is based off of this collection. So it has some similar pieces, it has some different pieces. I'll give you a quick little look here. We have a gardening set with stamps and dies. And now the one that I'm really excited about here is this one with all these cute little characters and some pieces that you can use to build a little scene and little sentiments. I think you could do baby, Easter, spring, gardening. There's so many different things that you could do with these. And as soon as I saw the decorative frames that come in the die set, I knew this was going to make its way into my collection. It just wasn't at the very tippy top of my list. Because with all these releases, I definitely had to prioritize what I was going to get first. There's also some beautiful ribbon and some pearls. Both of these are in an order that I was hoping was going to be here today, but it looks like it will be here tomorrow. So you will be eventually seeing that in videos on my channel, as well as this 6x6 timeless plaid collection. And then there is a 12x12 pack as well. And the thing that's really cool about this is that there are die cut little characters. So there are dies in this set that will cut out some of the characters from the paper, but there's 2 sheets of actual die cut characters that you can just pop out and use. So you can see they're showing that over here on this page, the die cuts, and then cutting out the characters from the paper. Just super sweet. A little bit softer color palette, so if that is more your vibe than like bright colors, I think you're really going to enjoy this. The Scrapbooking Brochure, this is the last one that Stampin' Up! Is doing like this. From here on out, the scrapbooking releases will be part of the regular release. So you will see the kits and everything in the regular catalogs. We're kind of starting to get caught up now from the transition from Close to My Heart to Stampin' Up. There are more colors of two-tone cardstock, so that is really nice to see. And these come 12 sheets in a pack, which to me is the best size. I love that it's not a full 24 pack. I think the 12 sheets is the perfect size. There's all the different colors you can get right now. And then there are pictures of the workshops and all the layouts that are in the workshops. So keep in mind that often the workshops have pieces in them that you cannot get anywhere else. So whether that's like sticker sheet, extra die cuts, here we have some like swirls and leaves and stuff that you can only get in the kit. And quite often there are special papers that are kind of geared more to scrapbooking. So they're a little more subtle. They're great for like backgrounds and things like that. So make sure you go down into the description box below. There's a link so you can go check this out for yourself. I will also link the catalog and the Sale-A-Bration booklet and as well the online exclusives. So just have a peek down there. Click the see more right below this video. And here are the layouts that coordinate with this storybook collection. And you can see there is a little bit of technique happening there, some die cuts, and then you can read everything that is in the kit and any additional supplies that they recommend. So, and there's also a stamp set that has some really good titling options. As scrapbookers, that's one thing that I think we need the most are titling options and supporting words, subtitles. We are getting some of that in the sticker sheet as well. And if you don't want to get the full workshop kit, you can get just the paper pack with the sticker sheet, which is what's shown here, as well as two-tone cardstock multi-pack, the collection pack, with colors that coordinate with that collection. What I'm most excited about for this is very cute and everything, but I'm really excited for the die set because I love basic shape dies. I'm super excited for those hexagons, and then the dies also build the little bees, and then you can get the supporting stamp set as well. If you were used to flip flaps from Close to My Heart, you will be excited to see them coming back again. We have 3x4, 4x6, 3x3, 4x4, as well as top loading page protectors and strap side loading page protectors. Yay! It's so exciting to see. If you're not familiar with flip flaps, they basically have an adhesive tab on them. You can stick them right on your page protector to add more photos and more journaling. So here's a look at one right there. You can see how it's just like stuck on the outside and just flips up, and you can stack several of them together to add like a whole little mini album on top of your layout. So that is super exciting. As far as I'm aware, they are made by the same vendor that made Close to My Heart ones, but I have not gotten them in my hands yet to kind of compare them. But I will do that and then let you guys know what I think. Okay, let's get back to the catalog. All right, so here is the Friends of the Ocean. So we're getting into some bright colors. I like bright colors, especially this time of year when I am so ready for winter to be over and I'm ready for warmer temperatures, sunshine, not having to wear a huge winter jacket when I go outside. And so of course I have this paper to show you. This is my favorite piece from the whole pack. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, it's so pretty. I love a good like ombre. This has some like little details in it. And I think it's going to be one of those ones where I'm like, okay, what is the best way I can use this? And I might struggle like cutting it up. I don't know. We'll have to see what I end up doing with it. And then there is a subtle fan pattern on the back, but I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be this side that gets used. We got some really pretty, bright, vibrant colors on here with all the coral and everything. Then we have this subtle rectangle pattern on the back. I love that we have like very themed on one side, and then the back sides are just like subtle. You could use them for any kind of thing you want. They could be everyday life kind of pictures. This one here, it matches the dies that are in the die set for this, and you can cut them right out without having to do any stamping. I haven't picked up the dies yet, but I'm sure they will make their way into my cart because there's some really nice kind of supporting images that go with it. And then we have some little smaller sea creatures and a nice hexagon pattern on the back. I'm thinking, like, I still have Hawaii pictures, I have Mexico pictures, I have all kinds of like tropical kind of travel pictures, and I think I'll probably end up using some of this for those. And then we got that wavy pink on the back. So really pretty bright colors. And even if I don't want to use all of this for like travel or beach pictures, I know I can flip it over to the other side and use it for all the little girl pictures that I have. I'm sure I will find a use for that. As well, in this collection, we have these beautiful dots. They are kind of like clear glass dots. That's what they look like. And then there's some, hopefully you can see it, like glitter inside. Really pretty. There's 2 different sizes and in the bright colors that match that collection. And then probably my favorite part is this one. So the Soft Waves embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder. And I just couldn't resist. I've already used it. And this is with the Utterly Adorable collection. And I just embossed that white in the background. Isn't that great texture? Here, I did it on green too, in case you can't see the white as well. But I love how deep this embosses, and I'm sure I'm going to end up using that quite a bit. All right, moving on, we have the Floral Delight collection. If you're ever wondering what colors are in a collection, you can look at the bottom here. It has all the colors, but also the packaging that it comes in. I always keep the label because it says what colors are in the collection as well. So lots of really good ideas in here, tons of inspiration. I definitely drew from these for the cards that I ended up making, which I'll show you in a second. But we have a stamp and die set. We have these cute little bees, some ribbon, and some vellum here at the top. This is vellum. This one here, you can actually use the dies to cut out all the flowers and leaves. And then this is the paper collection. So this just makes me think of spring. I think you could do all kinds of things with this. Definitely spring photos, outdoor photos. I know I have some pictures of Isabella in like a really pretty yellow dress. I think it might have been for Easter last year too, so I could definitely do that. But spring, summer, really anything. We got some nice subtle patterns and some bold patterns, so you can really mix it up. I love this green one. It has kind of like a distressed kind of canvas texture look to it in the green, which is really nice. And then there's also a brown. So I know I'm going to get really good use out of those sides. It's really good for scrapbooking to have those more subtle patterns. There's this one, which is also a nice subtle pattern. So there's definitely options. You don't have to use always the bold sides. Make sure you flip over your paper and check out the back side. Now we have some really pretty florals on the branches there. Don't ask me what kind of flowers they are. I enjoy flowers. I appreciate them and love them, but I usually have no clue what they are unless they're like roses or lilacs or something really common. And then we have another tone on tone here. And now I will show you the stamps. So we have the stamp set here. We have a base and then a detail layer, and there is a die that cuts out that cluster, as well as leaves that can match this little branch stamp here, and then some standalone leaves and a base and layer for another flower. This wishing honestly is what really sold me on this set, and then all these little supporting sentiments that can go with the wishing. Now, if you're going to get this, you really almost have to get the die because the die is, to me, is the best part. I really love this die set. It comes with 2 sheets of dies in here. This wishing cuts out a shadow and then a detail. I'll show you what that looks like. So here is one of the cards that I made with this, and you can see I used the pool color for the base, and then my detail layer, I used some peach pie glimmer paper, and look how delicate that is. It's just super delicate, and then all of the sentiments fit underneath. I also used the branch die that comes in here, and I'll show you these little bee embellishments in a minute, but aren't they just adorable? So cute. I ink blended some of that pool color on the background, and then I did pop up all my flowers and tucked in some leaves with them. This circle is from the Spotlight on Nature set. It's just such a good basic set. It can fit with so many different things, but I thought this little eyelet design really went with this collection. Now for that word wishing, you can also do a stamp and then just die cut the outline. If you don't want to do the double die cutting like I did there, here is another option. I stamped it and then die cut it. You can see I got more of those little bees in there. And now here is where the dies come in, because I cut them. See, they have a base and then they have a detail layer. So for that one, this one over here, and then this one as well has the base and the detail like you can see here. And then there's two different sizes of leaves, which I really like. I like having size options. We got flower centers, and then we have a couple of like open die designs that you can use to go with the stamps or with the paper, the vellum paper. So tons of different options. This little banner here is awesome because it will hold all of these sentiments, and you can see here how I nestled that in right below the wishing, and it just works perfectly. Now I'm going to show you these arch dies in a second. I highly recommend getting these arches. They are so good, and I've already used them a ton. I've only had them for a little while, but hold on for that. That will be coming. I have one more card to show you that I made with this collection, and I did use the arches again. So you'll get another little sneak peek at what those look like. But I cut out the flowers from this collection. I didn't use a die or anything. I just fussy cut them, and I popped up a couple of them. You can see they have some dimension. This butterfly I'm going to show you next, but I also want to show you this background. So you can see this really nice subtle background. This is one of the Sale-A-Bration items. It's the Starstruck embossing folder, and it has this really pretty design here. You can see it has little stars with the burst and then little dots filling in the rest. This is not a 3D folder. It's just like a regular embossing folder, but I think a really good pattern that you could use for so many different things. Now, speaking of Sale-A-Bration, I told you I would tell you a little bit more about this, and it is a special that runs for January and February. And when you place a $75 order in Canada, you can pick one of these items for free. And it goes up from there, so you can keep doing it. So if you spend $150, you could pick 2 items for free with a $150 order. You can see there's that Starstruck embossing folder. This little friendly seagull set, I've seen so many cute ideas with this, and I don't know, I'm tempted. I might have to get that one, place another order and get that one. But we got stamps, we got some paper I'm going to show you in a little bit here, some seam binding ribbon. There's lots of good things in here, some paper, and then there are a couple items here at the back that you can get free with a $150 purchase. So like this one is a stamp and die set, and then we have another larger stamp set that has more stamps in it. So lots of fun things to choose from, and there is also a joining special. So if you would like to join my team right now during Sale-A-Bration is the time to do it. For the starter kit, it's $135 Canadian, and you get $165 worth of product, and then you can choose your optional bonus. So the first one is you get this stamp set here, and your choice of 2 packs of the Stampin' Write markers, or you can just choose an additional $41 in free product. And the starter kit, you choose all your own products. So you get to completely customize it to what you want. And then of course you get all the extras of being on my team, which is free scrapbooking workshop guides and team meetings and team crafty challenges every month. A really fun community of women that are just supporting each other, doing the crafty things that we love. So you can check that out. Feel free to message me if you have any questions about that. Let's go on and have a look at this butterfly. Now this was the set that I was just thrilled with. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is my number one wish. This is the first thing I have to buy. I love butterflies and I love purple, and I just could not resist. So there's some really pretty ideas in there. These are the products, and of course I have those to show you. So I'm going to start off giving you a look at the paper. I have been making some things out of here, so I definitely have some scraps, but I'll just kind of flip back in here to find where the end of those scraps are. So this has that bouquet technique. when you take a picture of lights and they're out of focus and you get all those white dots. This is that look, but in paper. Now, the interesting thing is the word itself. I was looking up, how do you say this word? Some people say bokeh, some people say bouquet. Apparently it's a Japanese word and it is bouquet, but hey, that's what we'll go with. This has a very like watercolory or ink blended splattery background. So on one side we have like that really soft kind of circle pattern from the bouquet, and then on the back all of them have different versions of like blended colors with some splatter. Definitely some bright colors in here, which makes me happy. And there we go, a little bit softer background. And there's no like set theme with this, so you could really go any kind of direction you want to with it. And I think you could use them together, use them separately, mix them in with other papers you have, because they are so kind of generic in their theme. It's really pretty blue. So there you go. You get multiple sheets of each pattern. And I like to keep my paper in these little holders that I get from Amazon. I will link them down below. I use the ones for the 6x6 as well as my 12x12 papers. And I just love how it keeps everything together, and there's no flap, so I don't have to be like opening and closing. I just pop them in and out. It's super fast, and it keeps everything safe and protected so that the corners aren't getting all bent up. So here is the stamp set. There's also an embossing folder. This is a hybrid embossing folder. So this is the set. Because I've been using it so much, I went ahead and put my magnet in there. And then this is usually how I store my sets. I get 5x7 magnets off of Amazon, and then they're self-adhesive, so they just stick right in there. And then I have the stamp set. You can see it's getting a little bit stained because I have been using it. There's some great sentiments in this set. And then for the hybrid embossing folder, that means that you can just take the outline die here and you just kind of nestle it in there. It doesn't like pop in, it just kind of nestles in so you feel that it's in the right spot. Then you put your paper on top, you close your folder, and then you can run it through. Make sure you check the sandwich on your machine, because these hybrid ones, they are 3D and they can tend to be a little bit tight, so don't force it. Always put the folded end into your machine first, and I like to have my plates going out a little bit in front so the machine like sucks in your plates first, and it kind of helps ease this in. But if it's really tight, don't force it, because you will very likely break your machine. So that is how I did this piece here. I did the cut and emboss at the same time, and then I just did some straight cuts with that outline die to cut just some plain pieces of vellum, because I wanted a little bit more heft to it, a little bit more dimension. One of the things that really stood out to me when I first saw this set was that the body dies are separate. So you can cut out the wings from one material and the bodies from another. A lot of butterfly dies don't do that, and so I really like that option on here. I did that for this card, where I did vellum for the background, and then I did gold glitter paper for the next like detail layer, and then I did black cardstock for the body. And you can see how those perfectly line up there. If you want it a little bit bolder and not as soft, you could use like white cardstock back here, or you could choose one of the colors, but I really wanted the colors of the paper to shine through on this card, so that's why I grabbed some vellum from my stash. There's dog hair on everything. It's amazing how that gets around. I also used the sentiment piece from here, so there's two little like labels in this set, and then the sentiments all fit on those labels, which is really nice. And then another fun die that comes in here is this one. So this one you can actually use to cut your card base. So here you can see it's right a part of my card base. This does make a slightly smaller card. So I believe this is about 3.5 by 5 long, somewhere in that neighborhood. But what's really nice about it is that there are little engraved lines. And so when you go to put it on your card front to cut it out, you could see exactly where the blade is going to cut. I'm so glad they thought about that, because as I was placing it, I'm like, oh, how am I going to figure that out? And then I looked, I'm like, oh, they already thought about that. There's already engraved lines that show me exactly where it's going to cut. Now, something to notice here is it does cut out the head and little antenna that are a little bit different shaped from this body, this little like die right there. This one is much more detailed. This one is quite a bit bigger. So what I did is I actually just took my scissors and I just cut off the one that was on the butterfly and just replaced it with this one. This one I just cut in half and slid the pieces apart. So this is actually covering that cut. And then I have the beautiful mix on here. These embellishments are so pretty. This is the Itty Bitty Bouquet Mix. And isn't that gorgeous? It has frosted domes. It has iridescent sequins, little iridescent discs in a couple different sizes, and some hexagon shaped glitter. So pretty. Perfect for shaker cards, but also mostly how I've been using it is just using my little like pickup tool and putting down dots of glue and then just going into the jar, picking them up and setting them into the little dots of glue. And that way I can use it for embellishing like I normally would with my sticky back gems. You can see I did some stamping in here as well. That is on the stamp set. And yeah, there's some really nice sentiments in there. Another thing that's really nice is that there are dies that cut out the butterflies that are in here. So all three of these butterflies have coordinating dies, but I also like that there are 2 of this little one. So you can see here on this card that I made, there's 3 of them here. It's nice to be able to cut a whole bunch at the same time when you can cut in 2s, because I don't know about you, but butterflies, I rarely ever just use one. So it's nice to be able to do multiples. And this background, it has such a fun texture on it. This is a new embossing folder. It's called Plaster Painting 3D Embossing Folder, and this is one of the big ones. I love this large size. It's great for scrapbooking, or if you're doing 6x8 albums, those kinds of things, or for cards. So it's definitely very flexible in this large size. Here is another look at what this looks like. It's just like a good background texture that you could use for all kinds of things. It's not a set theme, which I really like. Makes it more flexible, and it's probably one that I will reach for more because of that. And if you're wondering where this shape is from, this is from the Nested Essentials. Both this piece here and these pieces, they have a nice little like piercing design on them. So that's the die set that I used for these, along with the butterflies, and then I have more of that mix with the sequins. All right, let's move on to the next collection. There are, of course, more ideas on these pages that I am not showing you, but you'll have to go have a look at the catalog for yourself and see all the ideas up close. Our next collection is Wildflower Birthday. So definitely a fun birthday theme. There is a scrapbooking workshop kit that is made with some of the same papers and the same theme. Of course, there's a sticker sheet for that one and some custom papers in there. But I do have this paper pack as well as the stamp and die and embellishments to show you. So let's have a look at that. Let's start with the paper first. We got gold foil going on here. I think this is gorgeous, and you could definitely use it for more than birthday. Easter comes to mind for me, spring. You could even, if it matches your colors, it could work for wedding as well. Any kind of celebration, really. We got some nice little soft green leaves here on the back side. We got another floral with gold foiling. You always get me when you do gold foiling. That's always a winner when there's any kind of foiling. I love it. And then we have a really soft pattern on the back. These cakes are so super pretty. I love that. So we got foil mixed in there as well, and a good selection of all the soft colors that are in this collection. And then a stripe on the back side. A fun kind of feature of this collection is some cut-aparts. I haven't had cut-aparts in a hot minute, but it's fun because you can really chop them up and use them how you want. We got some good options here for scrapbooking. We have some journaling spots. We have some icons, some tags, and then smaller spots on here that you could use for sentiments or for just like little bits of journaling or words, stamping some words on there to add to your layout. And of course, you could always cut them up and use them for cards as well. And then there is a kind of like daisy flower pattern on the back. And probably the highlight of this paper pack is there are die cuts. So these are like laser cut die cuts. You see they pop out super easy, and there are 2 sheets of this one. We got a lot of larger icons, which are perfect for scrapbooking. I love this banner down here. We got piece of cake and a full cake and lots of florals. So, and of course we got that gold foiling going on. So I would love to see these in like every collection. I love this, and I think it's such a great way to add on to a collection. That storybook collection with all the little bunnies and things has that as well. They have the sheets of die cuts. So I'm hoping that's something that we continue to see. And then we have some dots, these party dots. These are kind of like a matte finish, which is something a little bit different. I like that. The colors that are in the collection. And then we have our stamp set. I always love a good scripty font. And then of course you have all of these that you can add to the numbers. So the die set has the numbers. These really pair together really well. And I have not mounted this one yet on my magnet sheet, but I have used it. So things are kind of flopping around in here. We have a nice larger size banner. We have some smaller banners, some really tiny little florals, which I'll show you. I use those on my card. Tassels and a long string for those so you can create banners. I was really happy to see these tassels. I believe Close to My Heart had a set that came out not long before they closed, and I didn't grab it. And I kind of regretted it afterwards because I was like, oh, those tassels would be really cool. So redemption, I am now getting my tassels. I'm excited for that. And then all the numbers that you need to personalize either birthday cards or layouts for whatever year, or for anniversaries, whatever year you're celebrating. I only got around to making one card for this so far. I haven't decided yet what I want to do. The creative design team, we are going to be hosting a birthday card event in a little while here, and I haven't decided exactly what products I wanted to use, so I didn't want to go crazy and make a ton of birthday cards until I figure that out. But look at this gold foil that's on here. Isn't that beautiful? I really love the colors that are in here with that like bold blue. That's a blueberry bushel, and I really like that color. It's very pretty. So we got some of the tassels, dots. I used some gold foil to cut out the little flower. And then I did some stamping. I got 2 different, I did my first generation, then my second generation where after I had stamped, I stamped again, and some of those dots as well. So just a really simple little card inspired by the artwork that's in the catalog. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how that comes together. And of course I wanted to play as well. Okay, more beautiful ideas in here. Lots of photos that you can look at. And then we are getting into kind of more bundles, stamps, and dies. I had to get this linked together bundle. I'll give you a close-up on the artwork here. This one has masks, which are stencils, and they are layering. I think Stampin' Up! Does stencils, layering stencils, brilliantly. So I'm going to show you that. I have also started a card. I didn't finish it because I wanted to show you before I stuck things on. So this is a 3-piece bundle. You can buy all of these things separately, or you can buy them all bundled together. Here's the masks, the stamp set, and then this die set. I think they are super versatile. You could just go with the die set. These really can be used in so many different ways, which is always exciting for me. I love things that are flexible and can be used in lots of different ways. I was super excited about this. So with the masks, hopefully you can see that. See how there's an engraved one? They are telling you what step to do these in. And that little mark there helps you keep your stencils straight. So you put that down your paper, use a little pencil or something to draw that notch. And then each time you put down a stencil, you just make sure it's lined up with that notch, and it gives you really accurate results. So you could use these alone. Definitely, you could do that. You could use like a couple of them. You don't have to use all the steps, but I will show you what it looks like using most of the steps. But that's like a good design all on its own. It doesn't need anything added to it. Same with that one, would be good all on its own. There is this background. I decided to stick with monochromatic because you are layering inks over top of each other. So you always need to think about, okay, if these colors are layering, what color are they going to change to? Because dye inks are transparent. And so the color beneath it will affect the color you put on top of it unless it's like way darker. So I might try another project where I do a little bit more like of a rainbow and show you how to make that work. But for this one, I did Balmy Blue, Misty Moonlight, Blueberry Bushel, and the Night of Navy for the top one. The only layer I didn't use was this one here because I just didn't think it needed it. I was really happy with the direction it was going in. I'm going to see if I can zoom in and still focus on it. Can you see? Like, it's just a little bit of difference between each color, especially that Misty Moonlight. It's a very thin border of it that's showing there, but it really creates a beautiful dimension. But that's why I said you could skip layers if you don't want to use all of the layers. You could even do just the base layer with like one of the detail layers over top, that one or that one. So lots of different ways you could build this together. And you could also, instead of doing the full design, like I just put it onto my card front. This is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card, and you could see how it makes like the perfect border. But you could even just use part of the design. So just ink blend like just a little bit and let it fade off. You don't have to use the full stencil every time. There's definitely so many ways you could use this, and I do want to play more with it. Now bringing in the dies, this piece here will layer over that one and it lines up perfectly. And if you want to have this, you can cut it twice and it will cover the whole piece. Or if you only wanted to ink like one small panel and have it kind of like in the middle of your card like that, you could just mask off when you're doing your stenciling part so that you don't ink blend out into the other part. But you can put that on there like that. And then here's the piece I made to go on top. So we have the flowers and the little greenery sprigs, and this is one of the sentiments from the set, and you can kind of see how that would come together. So I don't usually show you like half-done projects, but I wanted you to be able to see and appreciate the full design before I covered it up. Another fun thing is it's basically just geometric designs, so you could use this for any kind of theme. The stamps kind of have like we have just the note, oh happy day, a lifetime of love, so happy for you, enjoy. So you could definitely go a few different directions with that. I just loved the scripty font. That's what got me for the stamp set. And I figured I would get a lot of use out of all these products together. There's a couple more sets that are on my wish list, but I haven't picked them up yet. I love this frame and the shapes that it creates. Like I said, I'm a sucker for like basic shapes and these super cute dinos. I know we have talked about taking Isabella to the dinosaur museum that's a little ways away from us, and you know, it would be tempting to make the dinosaurs really cute and scrapbook that. There's this book set. Now the next one I want to show you is the terrific toadstools. So super cute little mushrooms. I enjoy mushrooms more in like a, you know, like a magical fairy tale sort of theme. And I do have some paper here to show you. This is part of Sale-A-Bration, so it's not in the catalog. This is separate. It is in Sale-A-Bration, but I'll show you the stamp set first. So we have the tops of the mushrooms are separate from the stems, so you can do them in different colors. And you do have 3 different mushrooms. And then we have the little ladybug, the little grass hill here. We got some leaves. I guess we do have like 4 different, you got this grouping here of the mushrooms as well, and then some sayings to go along with it. And there is a punch that matches that, so you can go ahead and like punch out a whole bunch of mushrooms at one time. I find the easiest for that is to stamp them and then punch them, because usually the punch cuts in just a little bit smaller, but you could definitely do it the other way and just like punch a whole bunch and then go ahead and stamp them after as well. So that's the bundle that is in the catalog. I'll show you their little samples, and then I have a couple samples to show you as well. I love the soft colors that they've used, and they've definitely used like some different color combinations, which is fun. There you can see the punch has a little bit of blue left around the edge. So there's what that looks like. And then this is the Sale-A-Bration pack, so you can get that free with a $75 order. It has a lot of like really bright colors and definitely more up my alley, a little bit more like whimsical. And it makes me think of like a fairy garden. And I was thinking I might look in my stash for some fairy stamps and combine that. I also had a friend suggest to me using gnomes, if you still have some gnome stamps. And I think that would be really cute as well. So we got some good like neutral patterns. It's not all just mushrooms. You could definitely use it for other things. This is fun. Transition through those colors. That's on the other side. This side, I love it. Any kind of like wood grain or woodsy kind of pattern. I love that. And then we got this one, which is, whew, there's a lot going on there. And then we got dots. And I'll show you the cards that I made. So I made one in kind of that whimsical style with the bright colors. I used those arches again. I told you I am kind of obsessed with that set. And don't worry, I'm not just teasing you. I am going to show you the set actually. But I have some like stamped off, some second generation leaves in the background. And then I stamped a little grassy hill here. And then all of these pieces, I did stamp them out and then cut them out separately. So there is not punches for all of these pieces. I did hand cut some of them, the ones that don't fit in the punch. So this one's on the punch, that one, and that one. But the other ones were still fairly easy to hand cut. And then I used the little sentiment there. I just love how that turned out. And then I thought, how about I try doing like more neutral or natural tones. In case you're not really into the bright colors, you can get this look from it as well. I used that Spotlight on Nature die again. And then I used a text stamp in the back and some splatter stamps, which I'm going to show you in a minute here as well. A new favorite of mine too. So we have the Happy Birthday. This was from the butterfly set. And then I used some linen thread to do my little bow down here. I love the linen thread. It goes with pretty much everything and I use it quite a bit, but I thought it was fun to just try a little different arrangement and different colors. We have Lost Lagoon, Old Olive, and I think Misty Moonlight on that one. I think I'm still learning the color names, but just to give you a couple different ideas for that set, I think it will work great for scrapbooking as well. You can just kind of make a whole little fairy garden if you wanted to. All right, so there are more sets. We have some sets, another coordinating punch and set, some shadow stamps with detailed layers. And then this is another set that matches that punch. I think this is probably gonna end up on my list as well. I like when they have these that match punches and then you have so many sentiments that you can put inside. This one might end up coming home with me to the One More Year. Like, look at that little guy. He's so cute. And some little like cheeky birthday sayings. And you can see there's some card samples up there as well. That one I have not gotten yet, but I just might. And then we have Tile Techniques, which is like really pretty pattern stamp. And the Lifelong Friends set. And then we are at the end of the catalog, but we are not done yet because there are still online exclusives that I want to show you. Okay, I have teased you long enough. I want to show you the Everyday Arches. So this is part of the online exclusive. I will link down below where all the online exclusives are, so they'll be in one section for you. But here are the dies. There are so many different ways you can use these. I've seen people make ovals out of these dies, rotate them. Katie Taylor has a really good reel that she made where she used these dies and then she also put the sentiments around it on the inside of the card. So you have to go check out her Instagram. I believe she's Scrappin' Katie on Instagram or Katie Taylor. I will try and link that down below for you. I love that we have such a big range of sizes. So you can see we go right down to this little one, which would be perfect for sentiments. Or we can go right up to this big size here. And if you cut these together, you can get a frame like this. So if I cut the two that are right next to each other, you get this really delicate frame that has that nice little piercing detail in it. And then if you skip one, so if you cut like the outside one and then the third one in, you get a wider arch and you still end up with that nice piercing detail. You can also layer together the insides once they're cut and do like different sized arches that way. I have lots of ideas, and I just think these are a great landing spot for cards or layouts, because I would definitely cut one of these and put them beside my photos and have my embellishment cluster on top of it. I think that is a great way to use those. And then the sentiments wrap around them. They're all arched. There's a couple of like straight ones, but then you have all these fun arched ones, as well as things that you would find in the sky. We got airplanes, hot air balloon, birds. We got some little stars. And then of course I need to show you the paper that goes along with this. And you can get these bundled together or separately. And then you can also get it all together as like a suite. So we got lots of sky themed paper on here. These look like they were oil painted or acrylic painted and then photographed, but aren't those stunning? So pretty. There are some great samples on the website for these papers and different ways to use them on cards. And then the back sides have more neutral colors and patterns, so you can definitely get some more use out of that. We got some nice blue skies. Of course, we have multiple sheets of each one, different hues, different color palettes. Oh, and we got a nice pink, little subtle stripe there. This one I've used. I used to make a card. I used 2 sheets of it actually to make my card, so I'll have to show you that one here in a second. That's really pretty. The back sides definitely have really good options. Oops, there we go. Peachy color. Let's see. Oh, that really pretty blue with the stars. I like that. And then our last one here. Like a really nice sunrise or sunset. So pretty. All right, so those are 6 by 6. And then I'll show you this card that I made with that. I used one of the blue skies with the white clouds, and then I used a second one and cut out the clouds separately. And then I layered them together. So I kind of cut this piece, and then this piece I stamped on and then popped it up to give us some dimension. And then I cut arches to make a rainbow. So I just cut those out of cardstock, and I did what I showed you where you skip one die. So I used the outside die, skip a die, and then use the next die, and it gives you a little bit thicker. But if you wanted to fit more colors, you could definitely go like every 2 together to make some more fine arches. But that's just one idea. I used the butterflies from the bouquet set that I showed you, the beautiful butterfly, and I did those on gold foil. But there's so many more ways that you can use those arches, and I can't wait to continue to experiment with them. So you remember that text stamp and splatter stamp I was telling you about on this one? Well, here is the elements of text. This is one you're probably going to see me use over and over and over again because I love basic stamps like this that can be used for anything. I have quite a few in my collection that have like splatters and some text options. I really like this one. I think the sizing of it is great. That circle is like a really good size. We have a really nice scripty font, and then this one is more of like a typewritten font with some splatters on it, and then some nice splatter stamps. I like that they're not too big. They're just the right size actually for what I would choose. And to me, they're such a perfect addition for so many things. So here's a card that I made with my customers on Zoom the other night, and I just used it for my background, and I added some splatter just to add that little bit of detail. This is the Umbrella Days set. I used the sentiment from the butterfly set, and then this is the Full of Life paper that is in the annual catalog. So kind of an eclectic mix, but this element of text is in the online exclusives, and I think you definitely don't want to miss out on this one. Already used it on some scrapbook pages, so if you watched my previous video, this is part of my scrapbooking workshop for the month. So if you place an order for $80 or more on my website, then you will get the workshop guide for this for free. Here you can see that text in the background. I did some ink blending and then I stamped over top of that. You can go watch that video if you want to see all of it. And then I also used two, actually. I used two of the Sale-A-Bration freebies on here. So I'm going to show you those now. So we have the Documenting the Day set. I love this set. It's such a great titling one because it's not very strongly themed. We have What a Wonderful Day, Documenting the Day, Oh, What a Day, that could be good or bad, One Fine Day, Day in the Sun, A Perfect Day, and of course you could mix and match with other stamps that you have as well. I just love the font that they chose, and then having this bold day, there's like different techniques that you can do with it. Here I just stamped it like full strength ink. And then on this one, I did like stamping off, so it made it a little bit lighter. And then on this one, I actually did like a texturizing technique on there before I stamped it. So you can see I've been playing with those butterflies and that sequin mix. It's so pretty. And more of that stamping. This is a text stamp with splatter stamping over top. So yes, those are probably elements that you're gonna continue to see. And remember, I do have my guides available. If you are outside of Canada and cannot purchase from my website, you can purchase the guide, and I will put that link down below for you. Now, you may have noticed the paper on that layout, and that is the Bloom Impressions paper. Mine is all cut up because I used it for that workshop, and some of it I only have a very little bit left. So we have some really pretty watercolor. So we got some very vivid florals, but then also some really pretty just watercolor patterns. And then some florals here that have watercolor in the background with white florals over top. And if you love bright colors or you're just ready for like a spring feel, this paper definitely brings it. And you can get it for free with your order, which is just an extra bonus. So there's that. I have a couple little small things to show you. And one more of the Sale-A-Bration freebies. This is the seam binding ribbon in the Fresh Freesia. I have not used this one yet, but I will open it so you can see it. So you can see it's kind of a crinkly ribbon, but it's really pretty, and I like it's a little bit thinner than most seam binding ribbon. So it's supposed to have that kind of wrinkly look to it. That's the look. There was a phase where crinkle ribbon was like the hottest thing, and we made it in all different kinds of colors. This one has a very like almost a satiny feel to it. It's got like a sheen to it, and it's really pretty. So I didn't end up breaking it out on my projects, but I definitely intend to use that one. And then I have a couple packs of embellishments. I think these were both from the online exclusives. So we have the low profile dots. We have this yellow color and a pink color, and they are definitely low profile. They are very low, which is nice if you are mailing things, or maybe you like flatter embellishments on your scrapbook pages. And then these are my personal favorite, the two-tone sparkle gems. They have purple and teal in them and like a crushed glitter look on the inside. Very beautiful. Well, that is everything I have to show you. Make sure you check out the links below. And if you want to watch my scrapbooking workshop video, you can click here to watch that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.